All right, what's up YouTube? So we got another close of the day, about 20 minutes left in the market, a little bit later than I like to put these videos out, but there's still a lot of action going on, so I made sure to add everything to the watch list. We're going to go over the watch list, but we have three categories. We have some of the hype plays that we're on today, so just a lot of volume, people playing news while other people are watching it. We have some stocks that were sitting at a bottom that previously had momentum, and they're kind of settling down, consolidating a little bit, but curling back up. And then we have another category of value plays that are sitting undervalued, in my opinion. So we're going to get into that. But today we had a lot of good moves, a lot of the stocks that we were watching in the previous week's past videos, which is pretty exciting because last week we had a lot of new news. So a lot of new stocks were running, and anybody who's watching them was probably chasing them in negative market conditions, which can be kind of scary. You want to catch those at the very beginning of the wave, not when it's already high and you could potentially have to come back down and hold it or take a loss. So a lot of the stock that we were watching in the previous weeks actually finally made their move today. We had market conditions that were kind of bad at the beginning, but when there's bad market conditions, people tend to flock towards stocks that were doing well in the past, that have momentum, and try to just really make some money out of something because all the value plays are down, the stock market's down, and people just flock towards whatever's moving, and they'll try to ride the wave. So we're going to go over these stocks on this watch list. Let's get into it. So SOPA, this one popped off right at the beginning of the market, right at market open. It got halted a few times, and there was this one move here where it hit highs of 8, came all the way back down, and it seemed like it was over, especially during the bad market conditions because most stocks were moving on the downside. So when it came back down, I stopped watching it. I thought a lot of people were going to be done with it, but it was retesting highs real quick. I think it got halted one more time, but ever since then kind of kept its volume. It hit highs of 13 here, came back down. People were taking profits. It kind of slowed down a bit until VWAP, and then VWAP bounced back up, and now we're heading into aftermarket. So this one's up 250%. Definitely be careful with this one, but we've also seen a lot of stocks go up that much and just have continuation volume the next day. So timing your entry is going to be key, waiting for it to sell off and getting in at a good price. You're not going to lose anything by waiting and trying to get a good entry on it, but you will lose something by chasing it and buying it at a peak and if it comes back down. So just be very wary about this one. The reason we make these watch lists in general is so we can catch good entries. So I mean, just because it's going at the high, you don't want to kind of top tick this and then have to pretty much reverse the pattern of what you actually want. But this is one to watch, so it's on the watch list. All right, the next one we're going to be talking about is actually ADGI as well, but the reason we're mentioning this one today, even though it's down, is because AERC. AERC, we've talked about it probably for 2 or 3 weeks now. The reason is because it IPO'd at $40, went all the way down to $120, and before coming back down, people took profits. This all happened in one day, which is crazy. So came all the way down to $8. We were talking about it around the $13 range. It did make that move all the way past the $13 range, so if you held, congrats, you made profits. But it bounced off this $8 level, and the reason I believe that this one did that today is because of ADGI and its move on Friday and Thursday. So this company deals with airborne viruses. It's like a filter kind of company. So it's not directly COVID related, but this company is directly COVID related. When the new variant came out, some news dropped that their stuff wasn't as effective against the new variant. And I mean, of course it wasn't. It's a new variant. So how would anybody just be prepared for that? So I felt this news was overblown. Let's see. Yeah, so it dropped pretty heavy off of that. And I felt the news I felt that it was overblown. It dropped from $40 all the way down to $5. So, I mean, let's say you hold it. Your downside is $5. I mean, if it goes to zero. But your upside is potentially recovering maybe about halfway, maybe about full price. If they get news that's positive, maybe back to here, maybe above that. But you could always play the range just from the $5 mark in between. There's a lot of range there depending on how much you're willing to hold. But I do think that people realize that the news was a bit overblown, and even if it's not going to recover all the way, that there's some range to play. And so it made this move from $5 down to about 13, and it held there for a while. Actually hit highs of 17 after market, which is crazy. We did talk about this one, but I believe that people were looking for other stocks that were sold off for no reason or kind of under bad conditions. And AERC is a perfect candidate for that because it came down from over $100 down to almost the same price, about $5, but this one's at $8. But it made a big move today. So this is a big range. I mean, from 8 to 14, that's a good range. So it's selling off now because this is not like a value play. This isn't going to hold necessarily. You might see some more action tomorrow morning, but time your entry here. We're looking like it's coming off, selling off really good, but it's only a matter of time before it curls back up. So AERC is on the watch list. Bfri, this one's still a short interest play. We've also been talking about this one for a while now, and this might not look like a big move. This one looks a little bit better, but under these market conditions, this is probably one of the best stocks that was on the market today because most stuff, again, was down. I can show you just my watch list in general. There was a lot. I mean, now we're seeing some stuff curling back up, but a lot of this stuff was red. I mean, these are hype plays. All your value plays are down. So where were we at? Bfri. So yeah, it's 90% short interest. We're still working off that. Still working off a 3 million float. So not too many shares available, and majority of them are shorted. So there's still that hype there, but it just couldn't break this 790 level because it's blue skies after that. I mean, you're back to that $13 level where it was $11, and then past that it's blue skies. But it didn't even test that. It keeps getting stopped out here, which is, as you can see, it's been doing that. It did it once here. So it looks like people are waiting for it to test it and then just taking profits and then buying the dip again instead of kind of continuing to buy it. This might be because it's been a while that the stock has been kind of making moves like this, and there's other stocks, so people probably don't have as much just buy power. People aren't piling onto this one because it's already kind of maybe saturated, but still one to watch. All right, now we're going on to the ones that are kind of oversold. We're looking for the curl up. DWAC is a good candidate. If you don't want to play DWAC directly because it's a little bit too much expensive, you won't be able to buy as many shares. There's a sympathy play that's moving almost in direct, like the charts almost look the same, and the reason is because they're connected. So when DWAC spikes, you usually see FVI spikes, which is a little bit sad, but it's a little bit more easier to predict as well. And the reason it's sad is because this is connected to Rumble, and the fact that there's a new competitor, potentially a disruptor in the market that could compete with Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, these new social medias. They could potentially, this should be running just because it's a competitor on its own, but it is tied to DWAC. So whenever DWAC is running, this tends to move with it. It's not seen as its own entity, which is kind of sad because I feel like this could be at the $20 mark if it wasn't moving directly with DWAC. But on the bright side, when this moves, and it does tend to move after hours, so check this out after hours. This runs with it too. It just makes a much smaller move, but you were able to catch this morning too. It was moving quite a bit. Pfizer. Okay, so this one is just a value play. Over this weekend, a lot of stuff was festering. You get the new variant stuff, and a lot of people are worried about the amount of cases, not necessarily how dangerous it is, but the amount of cases and how fast it's spreading, which is causing a lot of fear. A lot of places are making decisions. A lot of different countries are making decisions. And when those things start happening, other countries start considering them. And so you start having panic and fear. Pfizer is looking for FDA approval for, I think it's children from like 4 to 6 or something. It's a very young age, but they're looking for FDA approval. Might get approved soon. But even if they don't, just the amount of doses that they have lined up for 2022, this stock is not going anywhere. So if you're looking for a safe haven, vaccines might be the play. And this one's about $50 to $60, whereas the other ones are about $200. Moderna kind of came down today, actually. Pfizer still has some stuff working for it. I believe they're working on a non-vaccine solution to COVID as well. So, Pfizer. All right, and then we have some other ones that are oversold. Airbnb we like, good earnings. A lot of these next 3 stocks all have good earnings and they're down, and they all have other news and they're still down. So that's why we're looking at them. Airbnb, this might be related to the COVID fears because, maybe they saw sales going down. Personally, since they had good earnings, obviously that's not the case. This is more of a fear reaction, but it has sold off all the way down from I believe it was over 200 at one point, not even too long ago. Hit highs of 212 after earnings, and now it's coming down to about 150. And before earnings, it wasn't even trading at 150. It was around 160, 165, 170, bouncing around that range pretty consistently. And hopefully this is the bottom. It's tested this about 3 times here at 150. So it might start curling up now. It's trying to go past 150, but people don't. It looks like people don't believe it's worth less than that, and people are willing to buy it at this price. So hopefully it starts curling back up. You have a lot of range to play here, but this was off of the the market sells off. This one is a big mover, has a big range, so each day it can move about $10. You have three red days in a row for the market in general. This stock is very oversold by about $30 range, so lots of range here to play with. Yes. All right, Roblox, another one that had good earnings. Went highs of 140. Is it valued at 140? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, their earnings are very good. Their guidance was incredible. They made even more announcements and news about the changes they're making to their game in general. And then also with Meta, this is kind of tied to Meta as well, with the Facebook change to Meta. A price target came out at about 180, and then the market dropped a bit, and then the price target got dropped. I believe it was a different company who made the price target, but the latest one came out around 140. So even if we take the worst case scenario and value this at 140, I mean, it's still a $40 range to play, and this does move quite a bit. So you might see a $10 move up and then a $5 move down before another 10 move up. So it's a lot of, if you're day trading this or if you're just holding it, there are both opportunities here. But I'd be very surprised if this goes under $92 or even $90, because it was trading around that area before earnings, and they've gotten much better news since then. This is purely, I believe, based off market conditions, but we'll see with time. That's it for Roblox. Affirm's in the same boat. I mean, Affirm was trading at 175 before earnings, had good earnings as well, and then just dropped. It was trying to recover, and then they announced a private offering, which, why would you even do that to your shareholders, to your investors? And it came down to like $90. It's been holding here. So all those three stocks kind of trade very similarly, but all sold off in the same pattern. They almost look identical. So you could choose one or kind of go kind of distribute between all three. But if you want to be less risky in case one of them recovers or two of them recover, but the other one doesn't for other reasons. But regardless, they all have the same pattern. They all should be curling back up because they have good earnings. Next earnings season is around February, I believe. Firm has their earnings on February 9th, and their guidance was incredible last earnings. And they have the partnership with Amazon. They have the exclusive partnership with Amazon. They have a lot of things going for them. They even have like a new card line coming out. So, and their guidance was really good. And Affirm's a particularly interesting case because that they're based on a monthly payment system. So if they have a 6-month term where they're earning revenue and quarterly guidance is 3 months, well, if their last earnings was good and their revenue is based off a 6-month margin or more, then some of the past earnings does feed onto this next earnings. And last earnings, they did announce that they had way more users than ever before. So if it's growing exponentially and their last earnings is going to feed onto this earnings, it becomes a little bit more predictable. So the fact that it was trading at 175, I mean, I think it could retest that. But this stock does trade very weirdly. It's all kind of buy pressure and hype. And the reason it might have gotten to 175 before was anticipation for earnings. And it might have gotten there a bit too quickly and then sold off. And people might have realized that. And then just couldn't hold value because the way it was moving, people just kind of exited. But we'll see. Those are the watch lists for today. If you guys have any stocks that you're watching, drop them in the comments and a reason why maybe, or what your goal with it is, or maybe a reason why. Today we have Nike earnings after hours, so definitely check that out. We should probably put that on here, but Nike, just one to watch. I mean, Nike is a very reputable name, so I think they had last earnings. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. Or I think it was good earnings, but their guidance was bad, and so ended up dropping off that, which is crazy. So we'll see what happens this earnings. Christmas season's coming up. I don't know if that's going to tie into their quarterly earnings, those earnings from there, but it was around summer, so maybe you have some summer earnings revenue in there. We'll see. But I mean, it's sold off because market conditions as well. So if this has good earnings, we could see it retest 170 again. Lots of range to play. If not, you can wait for it to crash. But this company isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So lots of value plays here. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to put this video up as soon as possible so you guys can catch it after hours. We've got about 7 minutes left, but it shouldn't take too long to upload this. That's it for me, guys. I appreciate you guys. If you leave a thumbs up or like the video, follow the channel. And until next time, I am out.